Hello, welcome back to the Simpsons Animation Fun Club. This is creator Matt Groening.
Hi, this is your director, Wes Archer.
Hey, this is one of the writers, Wolodarsky.
And this is his erstwhile partner, Kogen.
That's not even a joke.
No.
It's barely like we didn't really spend much time on that.
Skateboarding in the halls. He's a rascal, that Bart.
He skateboards.
I remember
the third episode of my first directing effort.
This is the first script when we wrote the script, Marge was called Juliet.
I just called her Mom.
Yeah.
What do you mean she was called Juliet?
We wrote because she didn't have a name.
Julie Kevin.
Weren't sure what the name was going to be. So in our stage directions, character names, we called her Juliet.
There's Big Bart.
We thought it was like Romeo and Juliet.
Well, I knew she was Marge.
No, you just wouldn't tell us.
And I still won't.
All right.
But I remember, honestly, this was the first completed Simpsons script, because we all got our assignments. Matt and Sam were writing theirs, Mike and Al were writing one, I think, and we were writing one, and we ended up finishing first. And so it was the third, but it ended up getting scheduled as the third show, I think.
Wow. Those cupcakes back at the beginning were mild.
Well, they're pretty easy.
We didn't have very many of them either.
Also, the sound effects got a little more vivid and we learned that louder and more painful is funnier.
First, the crowd scene.
Yeah, I remember we had written Crabapple, and then Matt said, what if we call it Crabapple? Because we were just remembering Mrs. Crabapple from... Crabtree, rather, right, from Little Rascals.
Oh, sorry, Lynn.
Well, I thought the funny conceit was that nobody ever mispronounced her name. You know?
Yeah.
The sushi chef in a later episode did, but...
Hey, Barty.
Oh, I remember Otto had long dyed black hair, so we wrote Otto had long dyed black hair.
That was basically a description of you at the time. Baseball cap and long black hair and shorts.
I know, it was bad. It was a bad legacy.
Remember when we did some public appearance at UCLA and somebody asked if I was based on you?
Right, I remember, yeah. It was a really proud moment in my young adult life. It's funny because at the time I was very excited, and then as the years went on, I was less and less excited about being associated with Otto.
As I recall, Wendell was a description of me.
Please try not to shake the seat like that.
Look at some of these characters. They look like they're so crude by comparison.
Well, we didn't refine the style. I mean, there was those little dot-headed characters,
right.
dot-eyed.
I believe the school children were among the first extras ever designed.
Oh, is that right?
Before we even began.
Yeah, like he's just being established. It's like he's a rascal. He'll do anything.
This was at the very, very beginning of the show. We talked about this story. We're wandering through a mall with Sam, Simon, and Matt.
Oh yeah, West Side Pavilion.
At West Side Pavilion, and discussing this story.
Yeah, like the whole idea that like this is like a real
Springfield is full of awful things.
Right. Like the geography for the first time and getting a sense.
It was much more bleak here.
I thought the tire dump would be a recurring location.
We didn't use it though. We had tire fires.
That's in the main titles, I think. I thought it was really cool that a cartoon character was going to throw up.
Look at that bald-headed kid in the row in front of Bart.
Can I put this on? No.
Sherry and Terry.
I know they didn't. Or the characters that really didn't really catch on, right?
They come up every so often. It turns out that the Simpsons really don't have very many friends.
Like her punishment here is very peculiar because it really seems to play into like exactly what Bart would want to do, which is like dissect the
yeah.
Right.
Sherry.
We never really understood like how he ended up there.
As they head into the nuclear power plant, I remember we actually, as writers, all took a trip to the nuclear power plant, the San Onofre nuclear power plant, together. And we'd written this episode before we got there, and a lot of what we wrote was remarkably accurate to the San Onofre nuclear power plant.
You made it, buddy.
Right, and then they were really upset.
So Wes, how come we didn't see him actually vomit?
It's more powerful in film if you don't show something.
Explain Smithers. What's the deal with Smithers' skin color?
He's black. I wanted to make a lot of Springfieldians black.
Let's learn more about nuclear energy, shall we? Likes?
Yeah, but then he
was a
became
mistake.
yellow anyway, so it didn't
I
matter.
remember writing this, loving writing this.
Most people.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's just like we sat through a million. We all, people of our generation and older, sat through a million of these kinds of movies. So it was very fun, and
We
you
had a lot of fun animating this.
And I remember Adam
My
Ball explosions
favorite
were
part.
really cool on film.
Just film strips, school strips.
Yeah, I went back and scratched up the film by hand. I dragged it behind my car.
Is that really? It looks fantastic.
It's
It
great.
really is very convincing, actually.
Wow, is that Ventura Boulevard I just saw?
Yeah.
I mean, just the idea. Like, I think this is like a early core Simpsons idea that you would sell something to kids and something awful to kids in a very in a very misleading way. So there's this like kind of undercurrent of cynicism that I think started very early on at the very beginning of the show.
Turbines that generate energy. Looks like there's a little leftover nuclear waste. No problem.
They've been showing this film apparently at the nuclear power plant for decades.
Right. They don't mind showing the nuclear waste as little monsters.
Story of nuclear energy.
Well, it takes care of it, I guess.
Yeah. Sweeps it under the rug.
Island.
Like, I love it's again like Simpsons sort of mob mentality. The kids are just very happily applauding this idiotic.
I love this
film.
joke. I love this.
That's kind of a play on Get Smart.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
over here is our thermal regulator. To your right, if you look through this window, you'll see where our water rejoins the rest of nature's biosphere.
Yeah, this is the first appearance of the three-eyed fish. Yeah.
Hey, Bart, our dad says your dad is incompetent. What does incompetent mean? It means you spend
nice.
more time yakking and scarfing.
Like, this is a dynamic that was never ever used again.
Yeah.
Which is that the kids and
Hey,
the
she's
dad,
missing her body.
No,
No, Terry or Sherry was missing her body. You missed
I
it.
didn't know that.
The disembodied head.
Pretty second on a field trip. They've been through here yet?
I love this little cart.
Simpson.
You guys,
They wanted the kids.
I know, the U-turn is really funny. Like, it's like it defies the laws of physics by making a U-turn.
He also seems much more of an executive here at this part of the. He's much more of a worker. Blue
He got
collar worker
demoted.
Later on.
There's my dad.
Here he's like.
Hey, Dad!
Well, we didn't know how to define his job.
Yeah.
You know.
Hi, boy.
And again, I will say that I don't think people walk around in radiation suits with big drums of waste.
Not a lot. No. It's unfair a little bit to the nuclear power industry, but that's okay.
Well, what I remember, I didn't go on that field trip with you guys to the nuclear power plant, but I remember somebody reporting back that on one of the doors at the real nuclear power plant it said, if you hear loud intermittent buzzing emanating from this door, call your supervisor
I
immediately.
have a photo of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I like it's the third episode written, and he's already fired, and his life is ruined.
I think we fired Homer about, 75 times now.
But I remember we took like a real delight in that. Like, it's like his life already stinks. Like, we were going to just beat up on him immediately.
Well, actually we have episodes now where he doesn't even go to work anymore. It's just whatever scheme that he needs. So he's like,
That's right, you take off
he's
at
like,
any
he's
time.
like Ozzy,
Right.
in the Ozzy and Harriet shows.
Yeah,
He just does
got
whatever
time to go into space.
I'm young.
Listen to his voice here too. It's really like much closer to
Walter
the Walter Matthau from where it started. That doorknob's always so weird. I can never.
You know what?
Eagle.
I worked on that, and I remember everybody hated it, but Jim loved it, so that's why it stayed in.
the eagle doorknob also, it was supposed to have whites in the eyes.
Right.
Just
That was
dots.
a mistake.
Looks like Gonzo from the Muppets.
I pee freely.
So I'm sure everybody knows what this is. Have you talked about this already?
Yeah, we talked about
I mean, I'm sure, right? We listen to those tapes endlessly.
Listen
I mean, like, look at Moe's really is a sad place, you know.
I will say, I believe Moe is the single ugliest character ever on The Simpsons.
You see, like early Lisa, she's just enjoying herself. She's not that.
Well, that's one of the things we did write in the script intentionally. I remember you guys did it, was that she actually enjoys Bart.
Oh, I think I'll
Yeah,
have another.
they have a good relationship.
Antics.
Oh, I'm a little low on funds. You think you could cover me just this once?
No, sorry.
Moe's the most hateful bartender.
He has to be.
I don't think you're ever gonna get another job and be able to pay me back.
I guess Barney doesn't exist
Don't
here.
worry, I'm still friends.
Oh,
There he
There
is.
he is.
I mean, look at it. It really looks like the end, like the O'Neill play. You know, we're all sitting around.
Aren't those Barfly number 1 and Barfly number 2?
Yeah.
They've never been named.
Just
We have
think.
Fireflies. We have Lou
I've
and
been thinking too.
what's his co-worker's name?
No, Homer.
Lenny and Carl.
Lenny and Carl. Yeah, we created
became-
those for this guy. This episode. Lenny and Carl.
I promised I could come back to my old job anytime I wanted.
You think you
There's
can
another appearance of
do
Otto
that
coming
kind
up.
of work?
Sure.
Does Marge still wear that hat?
It's just like
To
riding
bed.
a bicycle.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Hey, Mama.
That's like a classic animation cut. Like you get to do something big,
Yeah.
funny, you know, without having to worry about.
I remember
the
a big direction was also put detail in the backgrounds,
Mustard on it.
unlike most cartoons at the time, to show cracks in the walls and
remember this
garbage
joke.
lying around.
Was this your joke, the poking of the eye? Whose
I
joke was
don't know
that?
what else to do.
I like
I
that.
don't remember. It's funny though.
That's good.
There's only one thing we can't
Yeah, it might have been written in the
take advantage of
script.
the old guy.
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
No.
I don't remember.
It came
it.
out-
I don't remember.
And look at those paintings. Nothing.
The first appearance of Duff Beer.
It's a tree.
Cable network for the
No, that's her hair. That's like a little visual joke. That was her hair sticking in the other picture.
Oh
The
God.
continuation.
I-
We got rid of that. Got rid of that kind of.
Yeah, we were still making up the pictures on the walls as we were going along.
Now it's dump time. Dump, the beer that makes the days fly by.
I think that was another little Sam ditty, Sam Simon.
Can't get enough of that wonderful Duff.
Yeah.
There must be some beer here somewhere.
Like I love it. Like look how
Alcoholic here.
desperate he is
Don't
and
worry,
angry.
Katie, we love
It's
you
just
anyway.
come on, you know. Like he had
He throws that cake away. I love it. There's no sentimentality.
It was a big thing to throw shadows
We
in.
didn't know. It's just kind of risky, you know, having a father steal from his kid and.
well, the thing coming up where he attempts to commit suicide.
It seems a little riskier. Yeah.
We really were into like we're gonna this no one's ever seen him before and he's already trying to commit suicide. I thought it was really funny.
Not even enough to buy one
I
beer.
like this joke.
Wait a minute. I'll make sure.
Oh, back to the same.
Not
ending.
even close.
Things like that. I'm very proud of the initial J, the Homer J. Simpson. This is the first appearance of that.
Ah.
If you read this,
We put it in based on Bullwinkle J. Moose.
I can only leave you with.
You know what his middle name turned out to be?
No?
Stand.
Jebediah?
No.
Have courage.
J.
And
J-A-Y.
give up.
Oh,
That's
there
right.
you go.
Hope I can
I'm honored.
Better model.
And no
See,
wasn't
look,
for me, but I'm honored anyway.
Here, Homer like is not that stupid. Like he's kind of leaving a fairly eloquent, if illogical note.
Well,
you know?
that's stupid. Never give up. That's
No, but it has like, but there's an eloquence to his writing, you know, that like it's
But
not.
he's missing the essential point.
And then he hooks himself up to a rock, which he carries all the way to the bridge.
I know, I like that joke too. Both these jokes. He's gonna take the time to oil the fence.
I know Jim was really into this joke. He thought it showed a lot of heart, you know, that he cared enough, even though he's on his way to commit suicide.
Hey, that was a pretty good tear. We rarely got tears right on the show.
We had to draw every single tear, or else it would come back with multiple tears streaming down the face.
Oh, looks like young Simpson is going to kill himself.
No, maybe not. Maybe he's just taking his boulder for a walk.
The old commenting couple also never took off.
Mom, wake up! Beep, beep, round!
But that also, in a way, is like kind of defining Simpson's moment because there's just such an undercurrent of cynicism everywhere. Like everyone has a kind of bitterness in them.
Almost there.
I love Marge's gas.
Hey, you idiot! Watch where you're going.
There's the bridge.
Right?
I believe that's the same bridge where Bleeding Gums Murphy
That's it? Right,
met
right.
Lisa.
This is a
Suicide bridge.
the boulder that's there.
Yeah.
Good pan.
Boy, this intersection is dangerous. Someone ought to put a stop
Zip.
sign here.
Wow.
It barely sounds like Homer there, you know? It really does sound like a different character.
Yeah, Dad, I love you.
Tell myself.
Maggie's
telling
pajamas
myself
are
the
white.
last thing I'd ever
They're
do.
usually blue,
Now I
aren't
have
they?
a purpose. A reason
She
to
seems to have
live.
learned not to suck her pacifier, though, when other people are talking.
I don't care who I have to fight.
Thank goodness.
I will not rest until the street gets a stop sign. Next on the agenda, Police Chief Wiggum will give us an update on our graffiti problem.
Oh, Barto.
Our city is under siege.
by a graffiti vandal known as El Barca. Police artist. Odd sketch. If anyone
doesn't talk like Kogen here.
please contact me.
Well, Homer may be stupid, but the fact that the entire town cannot figure this out.
That guy was
Who the hell is
sitting. He was more grotesque than the Simpsons, and
God.
from here on, I think that
I know that guy. You're talking about the guy at the end there?
our direction was not to make bystanders more distorted than our main characters.
Really, he just looks like a
idea.
Looks like a.
But Jasper, look, Jasper.
Yeah.
That's
From the
good.
dinosaur.
Yeah, but look, I don't think Jasper moves once through this entire sequence.
Simpson, get to the point. I think we
You
should
gotta save money somewhere.
But there's another scene like a straight-on shot where he also just looks like a cardboard cutout.
Wow. Listen to me.
Alright, Dad! Way to go, Homer! You did it!
Yeah, like, look at that. I think he's just like a cardboard character.
Outside, they're sadly
I like
mistaken.
how we never really discussed how this isn't really a job. This doesn't help him with his key problem, which is not having a job. Gives him a hobby.
Like these jokes, I felt like got much more sophisticated. Like they seem very thin.
I like the dip joke.
The dip is funny, but I mean, just we got much denser in our writing when we started to figure out what we could do.
Well, if you remember, all these first 13 episodes were all in the works before we saw the results of any episode.
Yeah,
Like you said, you guys didn't even know the names of all the characters.
Right.
And it's amazing how developed the show was, given that we were doing it on the fly.
Family. But come on. We all know this is small potatoes. There's a danger in this town that is bigger than all the dips put together.
What, Dad?
I'm talking about that.
That massive pullout is actually like 3 or 4 separate backgrounds where you get progressively further and further out.
That's great. Oh, she is talking during dialogue, or she is sucking a pacifier.
That was a sweet moment. Dad, you're a hero, and then he doesn't hear it.
Yeah, it's like,
There's a lot of weird people in this crowd.
We never
scene.
saw that guy again. He became Flanders, I guess. I don't know what that
it sounds like Flanders.
Yeah.
But this is also a good example of like Springfield mob mentality. Like they've taken to this guy who's done basically nothing, which I think was a funny early idea.
Is this the first time we see
Yeah, the
this
first
character?
character Burns. Yeah.
Wow. Look at that man. He has the crowd in the palm of his hand. Haven't seen anything like it since Jolson.
That was Mike Reese, I remember. Right. Mike Reese said that joke.
He used to work here in the plant.
That's really funny, Joe.
Fired him for gross incompetence.
Smithers and Burns.
That's great too. I always love that. The back of his head and the binoculars.
There was a really weird portrait in Burns' office that was supposed to have been an Andy Warhol portrait version of Burns, but it doesn't look that way. It looks like a paint by numbers.
Many of them.
I used to go crazy with those background characters that look so weird.
Yeah, that guy with the red band.
There's so many weird ones.
Watch them pass me over for promotion time and again. And I say, this stinks.
Hey, Simpson. Burns wants to talk to you privately.
Privately?
Yes.
Stay here. I'll be right back.
There's this one reverse coming up that's so weird. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where he looks like a crocodile beak or something?
Simpson, I want you to rejoin our power plant family.
Sorry, no can do.
This is
Hear me out, Simpson.
this is the first time in the Simpsons episode where I said, "So, Simpson, we finally meet." Where they actually did finally meet.
Or whatever the hell you used to do. I want you to be in charge of safety.
He's a great character. I love this.
Yeah, look at that thing. Look,
But
that's
sir,
the weirdest
if
looking
truth be
profile.
known, I actually caused more accidents around here than any other employee. Or even a few doozies no one ever found out about.
The generous
Burns.
offer I'm making is good for exactly 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a really. I remember Mr. Burns was like
Me
a
in charge of
classic
safety?
character, like
Like
in
the
the
old Sky High.
Flintstones, Maine. You know,
Ah.
like a boss,
Right
an
out
evil
work
boss.
now? Yeah, this guy's
It changed a lot from our first draft
I can't
to,
let
to what it
Bart
became.
support the
actually.
family. This guy's got the cleanest
Yeah,
shit I've
yeah.
He
ever
was called
seen.
Mr. Bellin, and he was
What
doing
shit?
other things.
Time's up.
What the hey? I'll take the job.
Excellent. Your first duty will be to step out on the balcony and tell that crowd this plant is safe.
What?
Go on, Homer.
Over, 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 over.
Hey, Homer! Go,
Tough drawing crowds.
Ladies and gentlemen, this plant is...
That's a nice shot.
That's what's good about these shows too. They,
I know, right?
like you were saying before, there still is emotion. Even though it's goofy, it's silly, but there's still
I can't do it, Mr.
meaning.
Burns.
And
It's true, because if he
Little
sells
stories.
out right at that moment, even though it kind of sells out anyway, but even if he sells out at that moment, you really don't have a rootable interest in him anymore.
But that's the look you're looking at. And I vow to continue spending every free minute I have crusading for safety.
So what always bugged me about these early episodes is look at the way that beard line just sort of jags out,
Yeah.
in his mouth.
Our best testing
Just
indicates
really annoyed me.
you've got the job.
When watching these old episodes, it's going to be just a lot of complaining because
Let's go back and
Or you can say how
reanimate.
great they are now.
no, they're great. I mean, they're great, but it's just we're just going over looking at all the mistakes.
Depend on me and your safety.
Well, things definitely improved, there's no question,
won't spread yourself
in terms of the show's look.
Or
The voice track really carries the show
depends on the older life.
a lot of the times.
You have to learn that there's a little
And also the sound effects really
And I'm going to
got better and better. Like, they're still already pretty good, but they got much better.
The only reason I'm telling you this is I'm going to be leaving you. But don't worry.
Once again, the crowd
Right.
gasping in unison.
What are we gonna do without him?
With a big fat rain!
my chocolate.
Weird choice. You're dancing on the edge of a building.
Whoa, Edie, don't jump me. Be careful.
Wow.